Hi, everyone. In the last one of these, I asked the question, what would the best decade be to be a fantasy writer? And my third place opinion would be the 2000s, before the widespread availability of vanity presses and smartphones and social media. All of those seem to have changed people's relationship with the novel. The last two, the smartphones and social media, those changed people's brains. Way more powerfully than any street drug. Pot and cocaine, those didn't mutate a generation in the way that like iPhones and TikTok did. So I think the 2010s were an adverse change for the fantasy writer profession. And the 2020s didn't fix it. It seems to have gotten worse. The start of the 2020s, though, that was really defined by pandemic confinement, and that sort of solitary living is a requisite, part of the fantasy writer's life, and they were sort of forced into it. So, maybe it started, but beyond that, the 2020s are just defined by generative AI, and that ruins all forms of art in a number of ways. The obvious way is that humane art is just drowned out by inhumane bulk. How do you find it? But the more sinister effect I'll call it the Cher effect, or the auto-tune effect. When Cher debuted auto-tune, oh no, was my response, because it makes it harder and harder to tell what's real, what real human throats, real human hearts are generating, real human anatomy is generating, and that kind of ruins my connection to music. Now, in the art, if I have doubt that a computer didn't make it, that ruins my immersion in the story. And so the 2020s, I think, is kind of the worst time. 2010s, though, I wouldn't go for that either. But right before all of that, on the brink of all that technology, before any of it had taken over, that would have been a good... What had taken over was reality TV, like the Osbournes, things like this were coming out. And I get why, because it's profit margins. I think everyone would have preferred, most people would have preferred scripted dramas, scripted sitcoms. Certainly the ad revenue was higher, bigger audiences, but the loss in ad revenue for reality TV was more than made up for by the reduced production costs. So I get why there was that uptick in that kind of bulk, but I would have loved competing against that bulk. That would have been so much fun competing against, because it wasn't infinite. I don't think reality TV of that kind can compete against surreality TV AI bulk, which is just a flood, a world engorging flood that artists need an arc to survive. And so the 2000s, before any of this, I feel would have been a really good time. That's my third place pick. All right, I'll see you next time.